What were weird myths you thought about sex as a kid? I thought penises grew pubic hair on their tip, like a lion's tail. I also thought all doggy style sex was anal sex. I thought oral sex was literally oral. As in, talking dirty. I was so shocked to learn the truth. This brings back the memory of when my daughter was around 10 and amp stormed into the living room where I was reading. She said, "Mom, what's a blowjob?" Friend is saying she knows what it is, but what she's saying sounds wrong. I put down my book and amp said, "Well, what did friend say it was?" Kiddo replied, rather skeptically. She says it's when you take a guy's junk and a blow dryer. My face must have spoken volumes because she trailed off when she looked up at me. If I had to guess, my face probably conveyed shock and amp horror with a sprinkle of amusement. I slowly shook my head and amp told her that at no point should a blow dryer be near anyone's junk. Ever. Then I gave an age-appropriate explanation of the term and amp told her to tell friend to stop chatting about things she knows nothing about. When I gave the explanation, she looked disgusted to the degree that you'd have thought I had served her dog shit popsicles. Her response to the new info was EW. What the hell? I'm never doing that. Have you done that? I clearly denied ever even seeing a man naked in order to avoid the question and amp get a laugh from her. I thought you literally could not have sex before marriage. It couldn't happen. The vagina would reject the penis like water and oil. My parents were very open about sex and taught me about it when I was 4. Of course at 4 it doesn't all make sense. So I thought women only had one hole to do everything. I also thought that boys had periods. When I was 7 or so I got a cut in my ass. I needed a shit and accidentally cut my ass wound in the process. When I went to flush I saw the blood and told my dad that I was on my period. He was obviously confused. In elementary a kid asked me if I knew what a condom was. I went ahead and described a nicotine patch. Kid asked me the same. No, I said. Well, it's when you cut the skin off your penis, he said as we kids stared at a used condom in the bushes at our elementary school. I spent 3 years believing that I had seen discarded penis skin. As a kid I thought kissing on the lips made babies. And apparently so did a lot of other people. I remember being really little and looking in a mirror and noticing I had a pudgy belly. I became terrified that I was pregnant. I was legit like 6 years old. All I could think of was that my dad kissed me, so that must have gotten me pregnant. I have no idea why I would think this or how I finally realized it wasn't true. I have a distinct memory of being like 10-11 maybe and being chubby and having a bit of a tummy. I was laying in bed looking down at my belly, horrified that I was pregnant cause me and one of my friends had kissed on the lips out of curiosity. I was distraught about how to tell my parents and then decided to just not do anything about it and pretend everything was normal. I guess I wasn't pregnant. I heard the word lesbian for the first time at camp when I was 8, and when I asked what it meant I was told that it was a girl who sleeps in a bed with other girls. I took that to heart and understood the word as a negative, so I was pretty uncomfortable with sharing beds at sleepovers for a while. Also, when she was little, someone I went to high school with believed that a woman became pregnant when a married couple put forth a formal wish to God for a baby after a long time of begging her parents to give her a new sibling. They gave her the good news, she didn't believe them, and made them wish out loud in front of her for a baby. Her mom had twins and she thought it was her fault for making them wish a second time. Well, when all the evidence points that way. One of my best friends growing up was Mormon. Luckily she had enough sexual education to understand how babies were made. She did, however, tell me about a distant cousin of hers who was so sheltered that she had absolutely no concept that sex existed at all. She and her husband both had no idea how to make babies. They thought married couples just had to pray to God to get pregnant, and they had no idea they were supposed to physically do anything. They never had sex. After a year of trying the prayer thing, they asked their bishop for spiritual guidance and what they were doing wrong, why God would not bless them with a child. And the bishop then had a very awkward sex talk with these adult people. Imagine, after a year of marriage, finding out from your bishop that you were supposed to be putting your what in her what exclamation point. The sex talk is actually part of pre-marriage counseling that many churches will require you to do in order to get married there. In Judaism it often even includes an emphasis on how to pleasure the wife and that it's a husband's duty to make sure she's also satisfied with their sex life. I thought that sex was about getting naked in bed and rolling around in the sheets. I am gonna explain to those replying to me. When I was a kid, my mom handed a book from the government which explained a lot of things. It showed a man and a woman naked, but with their parts covered in pubic hair. A lot of pubic hair. I thought that was disgusting. But, one day, I would have to have sex. So I thought, if when I sleep I wake up in a different position, if I got naked and slept with my partner, after rolling around in the bed I would eventually have sex. This way, I wouldn't have to come close to that disgusting pubic hair. Or the woohoo, as the Sims call it. I used to think the tip of the penis just lined up with the clit and it like suctioned, I guess. IDK. I also freaked out and thought something was wrong when my labia started to appear and thought it was because I masturbated too much and I was scared to tell my mom. She most definitely would have explained it to me if I had asked. Then a few years later at my first pap smear I asked the doctor about it and she had to explain to me what it was. If you sat on a toilet seat with any pee on it, you'd get pregnant. I saw the episode of Seinfeld where George wanted to have makeup sex. I thought they meant makeup as in the beauty products you put on your face. When he was struggling to open the condom, I thought it was the pack of foundation he couldn't open. So 9-year-old me thought that people smeared makeup all over each other during sex. I thought sperm were the size of tadpoles. I thought they shot out and filled up the condom like a water balloon and you would be able to see and hear them slithering and wriggling around. Needless to say I was scared of sexual maturity for a while. I completely forgot I used to think this too until I just read your comment. I felt one big sperm wiggled out and became the baby. All fun at games till you finish in the shower and you have to hunt it down. You could make a movie out of this.